Hey, everybody, welcome back to Project Overflow. I hope you're doing well. And want to say hi to Zuan. We are actually away from the studio, and that's because we are currently on lockdown. All right. So, those of you, when we're making this video, we just received news that we are actually hitting the 6,000 cases per day
Mm,
mark. Okay. And this is something horrible. And we just hope and we pray that we'll get through this all in one piece. All right. So I really hope that you are safe and your family is doing well, even as you're listening to this. And if you watch this way past the COVID pandemic, then good on you, right? That means you are safe, right? So in this period of time, definitely, there's a lot of uncertainties and also a lot of questions that people are having, feeling a little bit of a fatigue of this COVID already. But definitely, there still needs to be a plan involved in managing this thing called money. Okay, for some, it's actually going downwards. Okay, adversely affecting them, and for others, it's actually going up. So whether it's up or down, I think it's still very important that we have a plan and we are still focused and pursuing that plan. What do you think, Zuan? Come say
yeah.
hello.
Yep. Hi, everybody. Yeah, definitely, because there's a lot of people who are struggling right now. During the lockdown, more and more businesses are closing and folding. And also, also, if you can see on the flip side, there's a lot of businesses that are doing well. A lot of investors, business owners are also making money on the other end. So even during this lockdown period, we're getting more and more questions now. How do we or manage our money better so that we're able to, because we have no idea, right? How long is this lockdown going to last? And here in Malaysia, we're going down into a more strict lockdown. There are news coming, but we're not sure. We're just waiting on the government. But that doesn't mean that we sit around and do nothing, right? We can actually look at what we have on hand now and just take an audit and look at, are we actually managing this well? Or are we just hoping and praying for something to happen, right? So that's why, even though during this lockdown, we had the discussion. We cannot shoot in our studio, but we feel that the need currently is people need to hear about this, and also have not to have that awareness. Now is the best time actually to start managing our finances well, even though during this lockdown. And that's why the videos still have to continue. We can't do anything much because I have to be locked down. Eugene has to be locked down. We can't cross district, but doesn't mean the content stop, right? So this is what we're going to do today. So yeah, Eugene. So what
Yeah.
is the question
So
for today?
yeah, I mean, picking up where we left off, right? We said this actually in the episodes before that we have this is our second year in lockdown, right? We actually started in March 2019 and till February 2019. That's 2020. Sorry, 2020. Yeah,
Yep.
March 2020 to February 2021. That's a year, right? So now we are already in almost in June. So we're actually moving into the second year, and it doesn't look like the changes will be anywhere soon. In fact,
Mm,
they're looking at statistically, Malaysia will actually complete the COVID coverage of that 70% in 2025, right? So that is a long way away, right? So if in the first year, we are a bit lost and we're a little bit displaced, it's understandable. But we're in our second year and possibly, moving on. Not to profess doom and gloom, but if it happens, are you ready? So today we actually want to cover on money management in terms of being a couple. I think we got that question that
yep.
came in, and that's a very interesting one. Do you manage your money separately, or do you manage your money together? And what do you do, especially for people who are now wanting to get married during this period of time? Or if you're married, what have you been doing? Okay, so before we continue, we really, if you've been enjoying our videos, or this is your first time, don't forget, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell, because we will be coming up with more and more of this information or learning as we journey together in terms of making sense of our money. All right, so welcome again for those of you here for the first time. So we want to talk about couples. We actually do answer questions of viewers. So if you've got any questions or you've got any of your own answers that you'd like to share with the audience, don't forget to type it in the section, the comment section below. Or if you have a question you would like to stay anonymous, there is a link in the description where you can actually be asking those questions in a Google Sheet where we do not track who is writing in, and we'll just answer it on the show. All right, so let's get back to today's topic. Zuan, tell me, do you do money together with your wife?
Oh wow. Yeah. Yes and no. I guess this question is, do we manage money together as a couple or manage separately, right?
Yeah.
For me, as my wife and I, we've been married for almost 2 years now, coming to 2 years, and during the first year, we still do it. I mean, like it's my, for me, is it didn't cross my mind, so I didn't know, right? So I just continue managing money my own way. That means I have my own budgeting sheet, and this is how I manage it, and she does it her own way. So until we didn't realize that, hey, now we're married, we're supposed to combine resources and relook at our income, no longer as individual but household income, right? That's why the word household income comes into play.
That's right.
Which I find it a little bit uncomfortable because I've been so comfortable doing this for over 10 years of my life, and now I need to open up and share. But we started that. I wouldn't say we do it 100% fully together yet, but we started with the conversation. Hey, look, now we're married, we are preparing for a child, and also our expenses, right? It's all combined. But what happens to me? In any case, anything happens to me, what's going to happen to you? Are you taken care of, and all this? So it was a good conversation to start. And on our first time trying to combine both of our expenses together, or because she has her own way of doing it, I have my own way of doing it. The experience is a little bit, I would say, not that great, because it's trying to mix two things coming together, right?
Right.
We haven't 100% figured something that worked, but we are working towards that. So just to give a little bit of how we did it, is because we are doing it in stages. So she still manages her own expenses, and I still manages my own expenses. But what we did was we agreed to have an account where we will all contribute into the household expenses, things that collectively, right, like laundry, pharmacy stuff, even things for our utilities. So things that are combined in the house that's shared. So we started that account. So that's something that we started. We agreed that's something easy. So we start with that. The second thing that we did was, now, because we're planning for a child. So we also said that, okay, we're going to set this aside for our kid in the future. Then we started an account to invest into the child's education, or whatever. We started that first. So we start with the easiest, simplest stuff first, before moving on into the nitty-gritty details. And that is where we are currently at now.
Cool. I think, thanks for sharing that. I know it's a little bit personal, but I think it's great to hear that, as you get into this thing called marriage, right, where two shall become one. We hear this all the time, but what does it really mean? And I think it's got to do with being transparent and open about even things like money, right? So I think statistics show that a majority of the issues that comes in between a couple, more than 90% is about money. All right, the other one is about the in-laws. Okay, but we want to look at this, and is there a right way or a wrong way in doing this? I personally don't think there is one, but as long as there is that form of equitability, meaning when two parties come together, as long as you agree on something and that it is transparent to each other, I think that is very, very crucial. Why is that important? So here are some of the reasons why that is very important. It's because, for example, right, I give you my personal example. I have got multiple bank accounts in multiple banks. I've got multiple probably insurance policies. I've got multiple deposits in terms of investment deposits, in different places. Now, if my spouse doesn't know or don't know where those investments are and don't know what they are, chances of me, let's say there's a mishap or there's something that happens to me, there's no way she would ever find out that I've got money placed in, some cryptocurrency somewhere or whatever. It's impossible to go and find that out, right? So I think for that particular purpose, I think it's very important for the spouse to know, okay, or at least at least sit together and discuss and come up with some form of agreement of if there's something that happens. Because obviously, when you get together with your spouse, you're sharing life together with them, to death do you part, right? So the whole idea is that if you're going to come together and trust one another like that, then I think all the more it needs to have that kind of transparency. So that is one of the points of why you need to do that. Secondly, is because of taxes. If you are able to do that, like what Zun was saying, the household taxes, if you get together and plan it properly, then you may still choose to declare your taxes separately for purposes of tax. Please talk to your accountants about that. We won't go into details of that, but you may also want to join together and do it, because there are some reliefs that you get, and so on and so forth, that you can join together as a household income that you'll be getting. All right. So that's that. For myself, my wife and I, we're celebrating our 21st wedding year this year. Okay,
Wow.
in June. So yeah, long time now, and it's true that when the moment you have children, everything changes, right? All the priorities, all the things that you thought that you wanted to buy, a lot of this begin to change, because suddenly there is something that takes center stage a little bit more than the rest of the things that we've been enjoying ourselves. For example, travel, or great restaurants or whatnot. So we scale accordingly to make sure that we are making plans for them as well. Because we bring them to the world, we have the responsibility to take care of them as they are gifts given to us, right? So our job is to make sure that we bring them up in a way where they can be effective human beings as well. So I think as you do this, and that's a great move that you guys are doing, although you don't have a child yet, and you're already planning for it, which is fantastic. I think that is one of those things that many people should begin doing it. I've got another question, Zuen, when it comes to couple money management, right? So do you each hold your own sets of money? For example, both you and your wife work and have an income. So now there's a question that came in about whether you should plow everything, like what you guys do, plow everything into one account and then you pinch off that account, or do you each hold separate account and put only those essentials into one account? And is it 50-50 in share? I think that was the most interesting one. What do you think?
Oh, wow. This is disclaimer, personal opinion. Personal opinion. I guess the best way is what works. Like I mentioned earlier in my sharing, yes, there's a lot of system out there, right? Say you should do 50-50, you should have 6 jars. This one is for essentials, this one is for play, this one is for, and all these things, right? We actually started with that mindset. Oh, we need to have all this in place. That's why there's so much struggle, like this will work, that cannot work, and you have to cut down on this, and this then it just opens up a whole can of worms. So instead of now working together and start something together, it actually held us back, and we like, this is too difficult, right? We don't want to do it. Right. But both of us, we've agreed that hey, this is something that we need to work together. So we start with the easiest one, which is the essential household expenses.
Right.
Okay. To answer your question, yes, both of us have our separate accounts. We still have our separate accounts, but we're starting accounts, joint things together. So the first one is actually the education fund for our kids, or expenses lah, because that is what we started and what I'm already putting aside anyways. So we started with that. We joined and we start that account. It's actually more of an investment account into unit trust, simple things, right? So we don't want money just sitting there, but can grow and work harder for us. So that's the purpose of the account. That was our first step, because it was simple.
Right.
Yeah, so just have to sign up sign up a joint account, fill in some paperwork, and that's that. Okay, so that's how we started. The second thing was shared household expenses. Okay, because every month we order now MCO. Sometimes we order Grab food in. So all of these are shared expenses that we spend on anyways, and also like toothpaste. Sometimes I don't even know it restocks automatically because my wife is superb in managing all this, right? So what we did is we look at on a monthly basis is how much roughly we're spending on all these expenses. And to answer your question is it's 100% from my side first. This is what I feel as a responsible provider or husband. This is expenses should be taken care of. This is just my own personal opinion. It shouldn't come from my spouse, even though she's able to. This is the basic need that I provide for. Okay, so that's how I do it. Doesn't mean that that you should this how doesn't mean that that's how you should do it, but this is what works for us, and we are taking these baby steps to build up. So the next thing that we are looking at is now, okay, how do we look into debt, right? Because we always talk about debt, right? So we are fixing small debts. I know this is a bit sensitive, but I don't mind sharing here. Small debt, like what else balance credit card do you have? Like, do you still have personal loan? Because all this we've been so used automatically paying it, right? And also we are looking at our car loans, like how long does it take? So this is our next stage where we're actually looking at debt and which one can we clear off first collectively? Because now there's two, instead of me clearing off my own debt, let's see and prioritize which one, and then we can together pool our resources to clear that off. So yeah, so that's the current stage we're in. We're managing our debts together, but yes, we still have both our own separate accounts, separate income. Yeah, so this is what worked for us so far, and yeah, hopefully we are able to share more insight. But this is where we're at.
Very good. Thank you so much for that. Right. So just to summarize, I think what Zun said was very interesting. It's very different from how we do. Me as a couple with my wife, we do finances. But I totally appreciate, as you guys start out, there's this whole coming together. It's already difficult to come together in terms of living with one another because you're 20 years apart. Doing your own thing, and then now you're coming together, you're actually creating something new. And so taking it step by step, I think that's one of the best advice possible to give to anyone who's starting to look at this seriously, right? So if you are a newly married couple or wanting to be married, or even if you're a couple for 10, 15, 20 years and you've never really looked at money to manage it properly, okay, then these are some of the steps you can take, right? First is to look at your household expenses as a whole and put it all into a sheet. Okay, so you can use a spreadsheet or whatever, or even just a piece of paper and just write down roughly how much you spend on things a month, and then put it together and look at how each other is going to contribute to pay for this, right? So in Zuan's household, what he does is he settles all those first, and then we're yet to find out, okay, and as we journey with you, we'll find out as they go along how they're managing this. Okay, I just share a little maybe a different example from myself. How we do it is I come from a background where I'm very watchful with money, and so I tend to calculate and be a little bit more aware. Whereas my wife, for her, she has always been taken care of in the sense that from her parents, then now coming being married and all that. So for her, paying the bills or dealing with telecoms or dealing with TNB, and all these different things like that, she's never done before. And part and parcel, I think when we got married, it was just like you, right? So everybody was separate. And then when our first child came along, then I had that sudden, oh my goodness, she cannot know not to do some of these things, to take care of these things, to manage these things, because I was traveling a lot then. I used to travel for work, and then bills don't get paid. Credit card bills don't get paid because I used to do it, on behalf. And so I had that realization that what if, for a certain period of time, I couldn't be doing that. whether I'm away or, if something happened that I can't take care of this, then she will be quite lost. And so then we actually moved that quite a bit. So we actually now split the bills so that each one has got something to take care of, to make sure that it's paid in time. And, if it goes down, the person will call up. Although those contracts are all in my name, but she gets to manage that. So in that as well, it's also a learning process, right? So for example, settling a car loan or something like that, right? So she will actually go to the bank and ask, what is the rates left, rather than it's all up to me and she's got zero knowledge. Because I think that's also very important. As we get married and as we get so used to one another, there are certain things that we don't like to do, and certain things that the person don't mind doing, and so they end up doing all of it. Then when the person is not around to do it, the whole household is in a mess, right? For example, I bought the washing machine, but I never knew how to use it until I had a period of time where I could stay at home and I was taking care of the children. So I worked the washing machine, I worked everything else in the house, and then I learned, okay, so some of the things are not right, or it's not up to speed, and then I can make changes there. So I think there's no right or wrong again, but I think to think deeper into making sure that we are all, as a couple, as a married couple, we continue to help each other grow in terms of knowledge, and also management skills in terms of money is very important. I always tell my wife this: what if I meet with a car accident today and die? There is a possibility, right? And we must all admit it. So what would happen if you don't know how to take care of yourself and the children in terms of insurance policy, car, house fire, all these policies, you've got absolutely no idea, don't know how it works. And that became a kind of a realization, oh my goodness, yeah, I could handle it. I'm the head of the house, and so on and so forth. But I think there is that need also for our spouse to know it, because equally there's a chance that there are things that might happen that will cause us to now need to get involved. So I think that's important as well.
Yep. Very good. Very good.
All right. So yeah. So thank you for the person who asked that question. So if you're a couple, if you've got any more deeper questions to this, please don't forget to comment below and ask your questions, because the more we understand your situation, the more we can talk into it.
Yep.
All right. So we've got newly wed, 2 years old, and old,
happily wed.
Happily, yeah. We are going strong at our 21st year marriage, right? So we want to see the 30th and 40th anniversary. So okay, guys, that's all for from us today here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification button so that you don't miss out on the answers that we bring to the questions that you are having. All right, that's from us for today from Project Overflow. We see you. Bye.
See you. Bye.